It's the morning after the live show from the site here last night, and now it's official that we're SuperGarden winners. So it's all out in the open. There's no secrets anymore. So we can be candid and upfront and frank with anyone that comes up to the garden, which is great, you know. The reaction so far, all day yesterday and so far this morning, has been so positive to the garden. Everyone recognised and identified how we responded to the needs of the family in the original show. They identified with the garden, they liked the planting, they liked the flow, they liked the circulation, they love the colours. They love the colours and all the elements, and they're anxious when they come here to see it in the flesh. Now what you see here is a modified version of the original garden, because the original garden was almost twice the size of the site we're on here. So we've had to condense everything, but people still come and they can understand and get a sense and understand the essence of the original garden. Planting here, because the site is smaller, you can go a lot more dense with your planting, and people are liking that. Some of the old-fashioned plants are making a comeback, this digitalis, the loop and the erisimum, some of the grasses. People are really responding to it. So the reaction so far has been so positive, and I couldn't be happier, you know. And we have a long weekend ahead of us, so it's only going to get better, I think. The process here was completely different to the original garden, because logistically it's quite difficult in this site, because there's 25 gardens being built. It's a very, very busy site, so you have to think very carefully about how you get your material in, get your rubbish out, and how you kind of go about staging it, you know. It presented a whole different challenge than the original garden. You get 2.5 weeks to do it, albeit it's a modified version, it's a condensed version. It was still quite fraught, long days, a lot of hard work, very intense, but we got there in the end. The major difference between here and the original garden, we allowed ourselves a lot more time here to perfect the planting, because I know there's a large emphasis on that in the show garden setting. Highlight of the past couple of weeks, I'd say I keep going back to the moment when the kids could finally access the original garden. They were anxious, they were looking out the window, we hadn't quite finished, they were anxious to get in, but they couldn't. And then that moment when we said it's all done, you can now go in and start playing in the garden. The 3 kids ran in and they were literally like kids in a candy store, you know. They didn't know where to go, they were running this way and that way, they were so excited. So that to me is a memorable moment. That's one that will stick with me for a while, you know. We had visits from all sorts of royalty yesterday. First of all, we had the President, then we had Marty Whelan, you know, perhaps more importantly. But yeah, it was great. I mean, the reaction was brilliant. He came up, he walked all around, I spoke to himself and his wife, and we went up to the gantry here behind me, and he was very taken with the planting, he was very taken with the accessibility, and it was a really pleasant moment. So there's plenty of photos and plenty of video footage on that I'll be going back to over the years. The bug will be back next year, you know. We got a silver gilt medal this year, so we're going to try and up the ante next year and make it a gold, so we'll be back, yeah.